How's it going, y'all? Welcome to another video by Rider Infusion. Here, starting this video off in a parking lot because we're going to be doing some slow speed maneuvering type stuff, some other basic skills, and practice these things so that your skills can improve. If you do have a background in dirt biking, off-road riding, it is going to be easier for you to get on a motorcycle and do some of this stuff because a lot of dirt bike riding, especially the technical stuff, is slower speed stuff, and there's just a lot of technicality to it. So anyways, let's hop on the bike and let's get going. All right, you guys, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about are really just basic motorcycling skills and controls, and that is going to be your clutch, your throttle, and your brakes. You know, those three things are something that you really need to try and get good at. Throttle, what your focus needs to be when you are practicing is just for really smooth inputs, smooth control with your throttle, to not be jerky, not be super aggressive on it, but just really nice and gentle throttle control. You know, once you get that down, a lot of the stuff will be easier even when you start kind of working in with that clutch. Same thing with your brakes, you guys. You want to be easy on your brakes. You don't want to be hard on them. Anytime you're really applying your brakes, you always want to try to be gradual as you apply your brakes and not do anything too quick, too rash, because that's when you can sometimes lock your tires up and you can go into into a slide. Same thing with your clutch, you guys. Practice learning where your bike actually catches on with your clutch. So there's a certain point in your clutch that when you release, that's when your clutch engages, the friction is created, and that's when you have that sort of movement, that traction. So get quick at just releasing your clutch to the point of where you have traction so that you kind of know if you need to start off real quick, you kind of know exactly where it bites, and you can kind of jump on that real quick and do what you got to do. So ultimately, I'd say the first thing is just stopping, going, stopping, going, stopping, going. Slow speed stuff, you know, nothing fast. We're not riding on a highway or city streets, just super slow, stop and go. You're going to have the muscle memory eventually of where and how your clutch bites, where it engages, and it'll be easier for you to do this the more you do it. So this right here with what I'm doing right now, really good skill to just try and practice. Start and then stop. This is something you come across as a rider all the time. You come up to a certain spot and you need to make a U-turn. You need to turn around on a particular road, and you got to be able to do that. And it'd be best if you could do it without, putting your feet down on the ground. So, say we have a road right here. Lean the bike in, be gentle on your throttle, kind of feather your clutch to that gripping point to where you can have a little bit of traction and just kind of move it in and out just to be in that friction zone, and practice doing U-turns. So imagine this is a road, we're driving up, say we're hugging the right side of the road, and we check our mirrors, make sure the road is clear, and we do our U-turn. Next thing that also really comes in handy with riding a motorcycle well is slow speed riding. So essentially what you want to do is basically just practice going as slow as you can possibly go, in as straight of a line as possible on your bike without you touching the floor with your feet. This is where your clutch work is really going to get into play. Your brake control is going to be also something you're going to be really practicing on here, and your throttle control as well. So yeah, the slower that you go, the harder it becomes to keep your bike upright. Something you got to practice. Slow speed, straight line riding. Get out there and do it. All right, another slow speed maneuver thing that you could try and practice and or do would be the good old figure eight. And really, it's as simple as that. Get out to a parking lot, get out to a nice open space, make sure you're not impeding with traffic or anything else, and just try to do a figure eight. So there you go. A couple of examples of some figure eights. You know, try to kind of close in the gap, try to make them make the gap as tight as you possibly can. Practice your figure eights. Now let's jump into some emergency skills. These are skills that, again, every rider should know and should practice, I think. First one's going to be just emergency braking. You know, so get up to speed, to whatever speed you feel comfortable with, and just go at your brakes. Feel for how your brakes are, how they work. Go at your front and your rear brakes at the same time so that you can get a feel for how the front brakes work, how the rear works. But, you know, one time you could try the front, one time you can try, you know, just the rear. Careful not to just lock up your front or rear brake. Gradually apply more pressure as you do, but this is just a good skill. Again, you know, you're riding, fingers resting on the clutch, you pull in your clutch, and you go at your brakes and you do a quick emergency type braking. Second thing on that list is going to be obstacle avoidance. You know, ride in a straight line, fixate on something, and just try to do a swerve maneuver, one way and or the other way. You wanna be good at swerving away from objects in both directions. So, you know, you're riding, say you're traveling behind a vehicle, you see something on the road, boom, you can dodge it if you have to. And really, a lot of it is just kind of throwing your weight on your bike and compensating for that in your steering and in your balance after the fact. Something else that's also really good to practice doing is riding, say first gear, come to a stop. Try to come to a complete stop without touching the floor with your feet and then take off. Just practice doing that. Come into a complete stop. That was actually a really good one. That was pretty good. But yeah, come to a quick stop and then take off. It is easier if you do use the rear brake instead of the front, because it's not going to shift the weight of your bike as much as the front brake does. So as you're coming to a stop, you know, you can use your front brake. For example, right now, I'm using my front brake and my rear, and then I let go of the front brake as I go slower, make a complete stop, and then go. All right, let's do another stop. There we go. That was pretty decent. Maybe not a complete stop. Let's try to do a complete one. That wasn't a complete one either. That was good. Yeah, so just practice that, you guys. Try riding, coming to a complete stop, and then proceeding forward. Also, again, this is something that you're going to be working your clutch, you're going to be working your brakes, you're going to be working your throttle, you're going to be working your balance. Really, really good thing to just practice. Now, let's get into some cornering techniques, and that is to look through the corner. Look towards where it is that you want to go. So, you know, again, this is something you can do in a parking lot. You don't got to be going fast, but look into the corner and really just focus on exactly where it is that you want your tire placement to be. So we're riding, I'm going to be turning left, so my head's scanning out to the left side, looking, checking to make sure that there's no gravel, there's nothing, no obstacles on the road, and I'm good to go. Really, your head needs to be turning into the direction of which you are going, instead of just kind of looking off to, you know, straight or whatever it is. You really want to use your head, turn it so that you can get a good sense of exactly where it is that you are going. Now, something else that is good to practice would be trying to start the bike on an incline. So, you know, this is Florida, so I don't have hills around here. I can't really put that into a live presentation here for you guys, but let's just say this was an uphill right now. Focus or try to just stop at an uphill
use your rear brake lever to free up sort of your right hand. You could do it with your front brake. I actually use my front brake all the time. You just got to get used to being able to apply the front brake and the throttle at the same time. So once you get used to that, you could just use the front brake if you wanted to. But say we're on a hill right now, right? We're climbing up. You want to practice stopping and just going, taking off again. Now, the reason you'd want to practice this is because anytime you're stopped on a hill, you've got more resistance. You got gravity working against you. You got gravity pulling you down. So it's going to be a little bit harder to maybe perhaps work your clutch and to get started smoothly. So practice doing that. And something else that, not maybe necessarily that you would practice on a parking lot like this, but checking your mirrors often is something that you guys got to get into. If you don't do it, if you're not constantly checking your mirrors with just a glance with your eyes or whatever else, you've got to do it. It is something that, is super important in making sure that whatever is happening behind you, that you're safe and that you're going to be safe. Really good practice to focus or think about the fact that, hey, I need to check my mirrors, and check your mirrors. All right, well, I kind of put my clutch through the ringer there and gave my clutch a nice workout this morning. I think those things that I covered are, I think, one of the most important things that you can just train and practice on. And if you do train and practice all the things that I've just talked about, especially just the slow speed maneuvering stuff, you're riding, try and come into a complete stop, holding your balance, going, that stuff is really going to make you a good rider on the streets, on the road. There's a lot of situations in which balance comes into play when you're on a bike. Good throttle, good clutch, good brake control, all that stuff is really, really important and really what makes you a good rider. So just make sure you pick a parking lot, an area that is, free and you feel comfortable on, and there's not, gravel or anything else on the parking lot. Make sure it's kind of a nice clean top pavement so you can have the best sort of conditions to practice on. Ride and practice, guys. Practice, practice, practice. It will make you a really good rider. And also, if you have the ability to get into dirt biking, I would really, really suggest that you would get into dirt biking. It's honestly one of the best things that you could get into. Like if you like motorcycling and you want to get better at motorcycling, getting into dirt biking, I can't stress this enough, is one of the best and greatest things that you can do. Like, it will increase your skill level immensely. You're just going to become a better rider, and it's something that I recommend to everybody. Guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, leave them down in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want more videos like this one and or general motorcycle type videos, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.